Chapter 22 01 Jinglu, The Last Hope. After the Eye of Medusa, two silver laser guns soon shot straight towards the nine-tailed fox. However, she ultimately failed to seize the opportunity. Although Hu Mengfang and Jiang Guanghan were fighting against her for the first time, they had already practiced the combined attack technique thousands of times in secret. She won't even have the 0.1 second of error left. Jiang Guanghan raised the heavy hammer high with both hands, and a powerful energy surged out from his body and gathered on his arms, making his arms look swollen like balloons. The surging energy poured into Yi's metal hammer through his clenched palms, and then exploded in the direction of Slake. Shockwave. The long-range attack methods of enhancement ability users are usually very simple. Due to the limitations of their abilities, their long-range methods are simply to release physical strength. Someone like Liang Yu was a complete exception, as she had cultivated the qi power that only martial arts masters could master. Jiang Guanghan's shockwave is a release of physical energy, simple and crude. But at this time, it is enough to complete the counterattack against Slake. The shockwave was like a tsunami, hitting Slake wave after wave. Slake, who had suffered losses, no longer dared to continue resisting with his body. Instead, he turned around quickly and crawled rapidly in the city. Boom, boom, boom. A large number of buildings collapsed directly due to the shock wave, which also helped Slake offset much of the power of Jiang Guanghan's attack. Hu Mengfang activated the Fox Demon's inner elixir, continuously emitting energy rays in the direction of Slake. At the same time, he also took the time to kill thousands of lizard men, forcing them to continue to attack the borderline. This forced Slake to continue fighting them. Because of Slake's strength, he can escape even when he knows that his ability is restrained and it is difficult to win. However, now, she could not escape, because escaping would be a betrayal of the Empire and the royal family, and those powerful people would never forgive her. I have to hold on. As long as we wait for our Grand Marshal to return, all these invaders will die. She raised her head and looked up at the sky. Above the sky, 3 huge super battleships were suspended. Due to the shift of the battlefield, Liu Karen has remotely controlled those mechanical life forms to drive super battleships to attack the Sky Iron Curtain from the direction of the sky. The main purpose is to attract the firepower of the Iron Curtain of the sky to prevent the Huaxiu National Coalition forces in the Wulwan Empire from being attacked from the sky. Second, if the Iron Curtain of the sky is really broken, then a meteor shower will be triggered, which will hit the dome of the underground cave and cause a large amount of falling rocks to destroy the country. Of course, that's not what Slack is looking at. The anxiety brought by the super battleship disappeared when they saw the huge black space, condensed by thick and long chains of rules. The Grand Marshal will definitely win. No one can defeat him. Slake believed it firmly in his heart. Because that is a monster created by concentrating almost all the resources of the entire Wulwan Empire. Although limited by his talent, after absorbing a large amount of sacrificial spirits and reaching an ability index of 52,000 points, Zheng Lu's strength has become difficult to improve. If you want to improve further, you can only do so by killing high-level aliens. However, an existence of this level is already a top-notch existence even in the legendary ancient times. In this era, when the end of the world has just arrived, how can the mere people on land compare with their foundation accumulated over billions of years? Grand Marshal, please come back soon. Everyone in the Wulwan Empire needs you. Slack thought so in his heart. At this moment, above the sky, within the realm of the binding chains, the more Zhang Yi and Zheng Lu fought, the more they felt how terrifying this guy was. Unlike himself, Zheng Lu's combat experience and skills have reached perfection. He had only been fighting for 4 years, but warriors like Zheng Lu had been trained as guardians of the Empire since childhood. Even though Zhang Yi could compete with Ling with the help of Ling's human body, it was not easy to kill her, or even just defeat her. And this is under the premise that Zhang Yi has a lot of intelligence about the other party. However, the intelligence of the 6 silver-armored generals was not sufficient. Zheng Lu's various abilities were so confidential that even they were not fully aware of them. Clatter. Zheng Lu simply waved his right hand in front of him lightly, and a large number of binding chains emerged from behind him like black smoke condensed from nothingness. In the blink of an eye, there were thousands of them, attacking Zhang Yi from all angles. Zhang Yi kept a sufficient distance from Zheng Lu. He put his right hand fingers together to form a sword and swiped it as quickly as if he was swinging a sword, casually drawing a huge net in front of him. Dimensional string solution. The spatial rift formed by extracting the basic structure of string space will destroy all spatial matter existing on it. Even those powerful world-binding chains were cut in an instant, then turned into black smoke and dissipated in the air. Zhang Yi was very glad that he could borrow the power of Ling's human body. Now, every second of fighting costs a huge amount of money. But Zhang Yi remained calm and not anxious at all. He knew that as long as he could delay Zheng Lu here, the coalition forces would surely win the war below, thanks to their careful planning for nearly half a year and the various strategic resources he had acquired through spending enormous energy, manpower, and connections. Therefore, even if he could try to kill Zheng Lu, he did not risk it. He still has his ultimate killer move that he hasn't used yet. However, both Blasphemy and Moment of the Blue Sky are extremely dangerous. Both abilities can only be used once, and will backfire on you if you fail. Therefore, we must wait until the critical moment before launching a desperate attack on Zheng Lu. Zhang Yi raised his hand and took out another ultraviolet bomb from the alien space and detonated it directly with his hand. The terrifying ultraviolet rays instantly filled the entire space of the binding chains. Zheng Lu tried to use his strong body to resist the invasion of this light, but the instinct of the underground creature still made his movements slow down by half a beat. Zhang Yi took the opportunity to stretch out his left hand and clench the air in the direction of Zheng Lu. God's Domain Purification. If single-target attacks don't work best, try locked-on indiscriminate attacks. The purpose of this move is to test whether Zheng Lu has any weaknesses. This body, which had been trained to the extreme, could only cause some non-fatal skin injuries using dimensional string solution. Then it may be that the location is wrong. Chapter 22:02 The Last Step. Clatter. Zheng Lu also realized that Zhang Yi would attack him. Although he didn't know Zhang Yi's plan, the binding chains quickly wrapped around his body, forming a thick black cocoon outside his body. Crack. Under the attack of the Divine Realm Purifying Tribulation, the huge black cocoon was instantly shattered. Now that Ling's human body has an ability index of 55,000 points, its power is no joke. Zheng Lu's body was forcibly peeled out of the black cocoon. Even his body, which had been tempered for thousands of years, was twisted at this moment. The violent friction between his bones made a crunching sound. Zheng Lu's body was under tremendous pressure, as if he was thrown into a huge meat grinder and was being stirred back and forth. But he managed to hold on in the end. Only strands of green blood seeped out of his mouth and nose. Snort. He lowered his head and groaned, quickly wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth. His body was also recovering from the minor injuries caused by the previous blow at an extremely fast speed. Zhang Yi frowned. This attack did not produce a particularly good effect. Zheng Lu's body seemed to be made of the best metal in the world. His dark blue body had no skin or bones damaged by that move. Only the internal organs of the body were slightly affected. The internal organs of living things are very fragile, but Zhang Yi is not Monkey King, so it is impossible for him to enter Zheng Lu's body to fight. And he didn't have a particularly good way to directly attack Zheng Lu's organs. But now, Zheng Lu's armor has been cut by him, and his real body is exposed in front of him, so he will definitely be able to find his weakness. Before Zhang Yi could figure it out, Zheng Lu's attack had already arrived. His hands condensed a ball of black light. Zhang Yi had seen the power of Su Tianming. This move could even break through his defense of the other world. If you keep thinking about it, there will be a response. The concentrated intention of Zheng Lu in this move can create terrifying and destructive power. However, this kind of ability was not the first time Zhang Yi had seen it. The last time was when he faced the 1,000 Changes of Ichigal, the king of the Zhongyuan tribe. Go to hell, bastard. Zheng Lu scolded Zhang Yi, Su Tianming had already taken action. The two light balls merged and turned into an eternal black beam of light, which seemed to be able to destroy everything and headed straight for his body. Its speed is so fast that the naked eye cannot keep up, and one can only use the predictive ability of the second hand of time to predict it. But it was meaningless to dodge in advance, because Zheng Lu was too fast. Once this move was released, Zhang Yi would have no way to move in the narrow space restricted by the binding chains. This attack, which covers a large area, must be taken. Zhang Yi raised Ling's ice-blue sword and poured out energy in a simple and unpretentious manner. Boom! A huge sword light came, like a river bursting its banks and a flood pouring down, rolling in and directly smashing Zheng Lu's virtual destiny. This made Zheng Lu so angry that his teeth itched. In terms of combat experience and the power of supernatural powers, he is far superior to Zhang Yi. If it weren't for the protection of this body, he could easily kill this human within the range of the binding chains. However, this human body that integrates all the energy bodies that Zhang Yi has tried his best to obtain, can actually burst out a combat power with an ability index of up to 55,000 points. Even though Zheng Lu's strength was far greater than Zhang Yi's, and even though Zhang Yi's way of controlling his human body was very crude, he just couldn't break Zhang Yi's defense. Zheng Lu was feeling a little anxious at this moment, because he could hear the Emperor Si Yi's anxious voice. Si Yi originally didn't want to disturb Zheng Lu, because he knew very well that when masters were fighting, they absolutely could not be distracted. Otherwise, you may lose your life because of a small mistake. But now, he has been waiting for a long time, and Zheng Lu has not yet captured Zhang Yi, and the situation in the Wulwan Empire has reached a point that makes him feel scared. The 10 silver-armored generals all encountered powerful enemies, and the slaughterers that Zhang Yi prepared for them had been trained specifically for them for 4.5 months. Knowing their abilities well, the human camp gained a huge advantage from the very beginning of the battle. Together with the mechanical army controlled by Lu Qian and the elite aliens of the entire Huashu Kingdom, the army of the Wulwan Empire was defeated. Dongqing District has completely fallen and turned into ruins. Although other urban areas have not been affected by the war for the time being, that is only because after breaking through the East City District, they can march straight in and attack the Central City District first. Si Yi had to contact the patron saint of the empire. Uncle Zheng Lu, haven't you defeated the enemy yet? The empire is in chaos and can't hold out for much longer. The enemy's strength is far greater than we imagined. It's even possible that among them there are aliens from the underground civilization of Huashu Nation. I'm starting to worry now. I need to take that final step. Si's words made Zheng Lu's eyes suddenly widen and his pupils shook violently. The final step? Of course. This means starting the self-destruction program, destroying the entire Wulwan Empire, and letting those invaders perish together with the Wulwan Empire. Zheng Lu didn't expect that the situation outside would reach this point. Hold on. Don't give up. Wait for my return. Zheng Lu gave such instructions because he would not watch the Wulwan Empire disappear before his eyes. He is the patron saint of the empire. After getting Zheng Lu's reply, Si Yi finally felt relieved. At least Zheng Lu was in good condition. As long as he defeats the enemy, the situation will be reversed. Oh, Uncle, there's something I need to remind you of. It seems they've learned our intelligence, including your abilities, from the traitor. Zheng Lu's eyes became gloomy. He had actually vaguely guessed what was going on. When the human in front of him fought against him, he was not at all surprised by his abilities and responded very smoothly. Invisibly, the pressure increased sharply. We can't delay any longer. Judging from the current situation, the battle between him and me cannot be decided in a short time. And what he wants to do is to hold me back. So, it's time to fight for your life. Zheng Lu saw through Zhang Yi's purpose. He decided not to fight cautiously, but to fight Zhang Yi to the death as soon as possible. So there is only one way to achieve this goal. Close combat. You will put yourself in a dangerous situation, but at the same time you will have the opportunity to kill the opponent. Even with that powerful human body, the guy inside wouldn't feel good if he got hit head-on with a punch. I'm going to find a way to break your tortoise shell first. staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.